All right, y'all.
All right. There's
Now,
power in the blood.
speaking of blood,
Okay.
let's talk about a real life vampire.
Why you call him that?
Giuliani.
I thought you was talking about the guy that be over the NFL.
No, Giuliani.
NBA.
Giuliani is a real life vampire.
Why you say that?
Well, I want to suck your blood.
He crazy. I think
the election was stolen.
He's losing it.
Those black ladies, they look like they was passing drugs.
Woo!
He ruined
those two black women,
the lives of more than just those two black ladies.
They're suing him, right?
Yes. All these elected people that work, normal, regular people, they have regular jobs, who took time out of their life to go help in an election, to sit in a stupid room and count votes.
Make sure the votes were counted.
40%, they said, are not returning for the next election. So you got to get all new people for a major election to learn on the job because of vampire Giuliani and comb over Trump.
Yeah. And calling them out by name. That was me.
Giuliani said that these two women
said their names. Mother and daughter, wasn't it?
Yes. Called them out by name.
Oh, I was so mad.
And said in Georgia that they was hiding votes. You can see them passing it, he said, like drugs. Why black women you got to say drugs?
Ma, can you bring me up? Oh, I get it.
Why black women you got to call them drugs that they was passing?
Thank you.
And then the other thing he said is that they should be put. I'm using paraphrasing. That you almost need to put them under the house. These women need to be ran out of town.
That was me.
He pretty much should have said tarred and feathered and hung from a tree.
They had death threats. These women could not work.
These women had death threats.
Yes.
More than just these women.
Yes.
It was white people too.
Yeah.
Anybody who worked on the election.
That whole election time, in that area.
People not only calling them on the phone, showing up at their house. One of the black ladies said they showed up at her grandmother's house, pushed in the door.
What was they trying to do?
Looking for her.
I would have shot their heads off.
Looking for her. Went in her house.
I would have been loaded.
And they said, your daughter is a traitor and she needs to be taken out and hung.
No.
They said, you better be glad. They told her, you better be glad this is 2020 and not 1920. That's what they said. In other words, if it was 1920, we would have grabbed you and pulled you out.
Like they did back then. And lynched them.
And they showed Trump saying similar. He wasn't as bad as vampire Giuliani,
right?
But he still was bad, saying that there were horrible women. Horrible women. Trump never goes as far as the people that hang around him. You notice that he's not Marjorie. Marjorie's a horrible human being.
He has crazy around him, and they do his.
He doesn't have to say it. All he has to say is, "You're gonna make a lot of people mad. You're gonna make a lot of people upset." And then the nut jobs that get mad and upset speak for him.
Yep, and they're nut jobs to do it.
So this nut job, vampire Giuliani with the hair dye that comes down his face when he sweats.
What is going on?
He said Giuliani concedes that he made public comments falsely about the election workers. He came out recently and just said they were false claims. They wasn't true.
These women's lives were in danger, and they're just false.
Rudy Giuliani has conceded that he made public comments falsely, claiming 2 Georgia election workers committed ballot fraud during the 2020 presidential race, but is arguing that the statements were protected by the First Amendment. In other words, you can yell fire in a crowded theater, according to Giuliani.
You still should get in trouble.
I have the freedom of speech to say that I think that you are a moron and you can't sue me for it. It's pretty much what he's saying. I have the right to say I believe that they're no good, dirty, low-down women and that they stole. That's my prerogative. The problem with that, vampire man, is that you don't really believe it. So how is that protected by the First Amendment? That's like me going around saying you stole something and you lose your job and your whole life changes.
No.
And I really don't even believe it. I just wanted to say it to piss you off.
So freedom of speech, you can't say lies. You can't fabricate.
You can say lies if you think it's the truth. If I say that man beats his wife, I really believe that man beats his wife.
Okay.
I don't think you can sue me because I really do
but
believe
if you
that.
come back and say,
you know that man don't beat his wife. Where did you come up with that premise, man?
I made it up.
If he sues me and I come to the judge and say, because I watched him snatch her in the car, judge, and I saw him push her down, the judge would say, okay, well, that's a normal, you probably would assume that he probably does.
So
to say I lied, I just made it up because I don't like him.
So Giuliani, you think he's gonna? They got good case against him?
That assertion by Giuliani, who is part of Donald Trump's legal team, tried to overturn the results in the battleground state, came in a filing Tuesday in a lawsuit by Ruby Freeman and Wanda Moss, the two women. Their lawsuit from December 2021 accused the former New York vampire mayor of defaming them by falsely stating that they had engaged in fraud while counting ballots at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. The lawsuit says Giuliani repeatedly pushed debunked claims that Freeman and Moss, mother and daughter, pulled out suitcases of illegal ballots and committed other acts of fraud to try to alter the race. Nothing in the video showed them doing any of that. He made it up.
They was on a power kick.
Though Giuliani is not disputing that the statements were false, he does not concede that they caused any damage. That's his argument.
Those women's lives were being threatened.
His argument,
they were at their front door.
His argument is not that he lied. His argument is that how much damage did it really cause you that what we did?
That's
crazy.
That's why I'm like, Lord, will it take somebody's life being taken away for a situation like what had just happened? Where if those two women, God forbid, their lives were taken by the people mad at the comments.
This woman said she was in Capitol, the Capitol riot, that her life was shattered by these false accusations. She says she received hateful and racist messages, some wishing death upon me, telling me that I'll be in jail with my mother, and saying things like Gladys 2020 and 1920. Giuliani's statement was attached to a filing arguing that he did not fail to produce evidence in the case and should not be sanctioned as Freeman and Moss had requested. While Giuliani does not admit to the plaintiff's allegations, he, for purposes of litigation only, does not contest the factual allegations. So he's playing legal hardball here. In other words, if I say, well, you lied on me and you said this and you said that, and I don't contest it, I'm not saying that I'm lying. I just don't contest it. That's the same thing as saying I'm lying. Because if somebody said you lying on them, you would turn around and say, no, I didn't. I didn't lie on you. You wouldn't just say, you can say whatever you want. I'm not going to contest it. Yeah, you did.
Wow. Why you call him a vampire?
Because he looks like a vampire. Not like the NBA guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, the NBA guy looks really like
pale looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we got here. Wendy says they went to her grandmother's house pretending to be a pizza delivery. That's ridiculous.
God forbid if those women got hurt.
Okay,
but I hope they got a strong case against him. A civil case? Is that what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, so let's do.
He's a man that really needs help. They said the sad thing about it. They said that he was a good mayor. So maybe he's changing, right? As he's getting older, he's not the same person.
All right, I'll skip over these.